I will invite again Ms. Igliga Yakova together here on stage. And like good neighbors that left the Black Sea but always be back to the Black Sea with pleasure, we would like to explore how how the European Commission and the EU policy is supporting our common maritime agenda and the Black Sea community. And we know, because also our coordinator, Mr. Taran, mentioned the EU strategic approach, which is new and which was recently launched, but in the same time more and more promoted. How, first of all, what means this EU strategic approach, and how is this impacting us here in the Black Sea?
So your question is about the Black Sea strategic approach.
Yes.
You probably remember that we were operating in the framework of the Black Sea Synergy that was reviewed in the past year to integrate the new challenges that the Black Sea is facing. Namely, the need for more security, the need for more connectivity, the need for more preparedness. And thus, this strategy is a part of a whole package of broader initiatives that the European Commission has prepared recently to tailor the European policy to a new dynamics shaped by the Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. And they evolve around several thematic focuses on security and on coherence of EU actions. So the Black Sea is fully integrated into this overall policy framework of the EU, I would say. As I mentioned at the beginning, about preparedness, resilience, and in a way also self-defense measures. Especially for the Black Sea strategy, it offers support for the coastal member states, for regions, in terms of peace, resilience, and security as a basis for regional cooperation. So regional cooperation, again, is at the heart of the Black Sea strategic approach. And one of the examples, live examples, this is the Common Maritime Agenda for the Black Sea and all the work we have done on the blue economy, on the sustainable blue economy. There are three main pillars. The first one is about enhancing security, stability, and resilience. The second one is about fostering sustainable growth and prosperity. And the third one is promoting environmental protection, climate change resilience, and preparedness. And you have probably heard, especially in Romania, there has been a lot of information about some of the key flagships that we are trying to put together with member states. And one of it is the Black Sea Maritime Security Hub. Another one is a connectivity agenda. Another one is the preparedness of coastal communities and blue economy sectors in terms of disaster preparedness and resilience. Only recently, last week, there was a big ministerial summit that was the first initiative to start implementing the Black Sea strategic approach. And it focused on two of the pillars. It focused on the connectivity and on the security aspects. So we see already how we are advancing and that there is a lot of interest from the higher level of countries in the Black Sea that are keen on working together on those aspects. But I'll stop here because I'm talking too much already.
And also, I think this strategic approach is really relevant, like you said, and the Black Sea is fully integrated together with the Common Maritime Agenda. And more than that, we know that European Commission has also another document that is very, very relevant for us. And although the name might not be giving us the hint that we are truly connected to, I think that you can explain us very visual how we can find our place and our role within the Ocean Pact.
Yes, of course, the Ocean Pact. This is our flagship initiative for DG Mare. I come from the Directorate General for Fisheries and Maritime Affairs, and we have been working on the Ocean Pact so that we put the ocean at the heart of the political agenda of the Commission, and we believe we succeeded that because at the United Nations conference in Nice in June, we have a very big presence of political leaders that supported our actions on the ocean. But let me just say that it's not about the ocean, it's about the seas and ocean, seas being part of one whole ocean as an ecosystem. And our ambition was to have an integrated approach, because so far what we have seen in the European Union policies is a piecemeal approach. We would work on transport, maritime transport, on tourism, on aquaculture, on marine biodiversity, on ocean health, on ocean science, but none of this was interconnected and interlinked. So our ambition is, through maritime cooperation, through special planning, through a sea basin approach, to have those policies working with the same goal. And the goal is, of course, to have a healthy ocean, healthy seas and ocean, because this is the prerequisite for our prosperity, for our well-being, for the health of our planet. But we also included this time security and defense as a very important pillar of our work. We have also focused on international cooperation and ocean diplomacy. We would wish to project this ambition that we have globally. And there is also a very important aspect on research, innovation, technologies, working with startups, so that we have the full spectrum of ocean policy integrated in one policy framework.
And I think this Ocean Pact is opening the road for the new let's say, path that blue economy and also maritime-related issues will fit within the future, let's say, European Commission framework. I think it's really helpful for the Black Sea community, because here we are a bit at the border of the European Commission, and sometimes our stakeholders tend to be confused in between the many policies that they have to relate to. Also, besides the EU policies, we have here GFCM, we have the regional policies that we are following. So having one Ocean Pact, gathering everything and connecting the dots, I think will be very much more clear.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you have time to read the Black Sea strategy and also the Ocean Pact, that you will see that they are aligned. And I would say the Black Sea strategic approach will be the framework for the Black Sea to operate and to see where are the main implementation goals. While for the Ocean Pact, we will see that certain strategies have become priorities, and the Black Sea is very prominently featuring there. So those will be key aspects to be integrated in our work.
And I launched now the challenge. Maybe it's a bit too much, but we are ambitious in the Black Sea for the CMA also, and for the Black Sea Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda to refresh and align with these new policies that are under the Ocean Pact, because we need a bit of refresh there, and I think that we all already felt it sometimes, and we need to be ready for that. So we need to reflect and try to see how we can get the most out of this Ocean Pact that at some point will become something else. And now I'm launching the question what the Black Sea community can expect next. So we are ready to prepare, but for what?
There is a lot to be done, I believe. We are working on an Ocean Act. This will be a framework that will be based on the review or the revision of the Maritime Special Planning Directive. And this Ocean Act has been announced as the deliverable of the Commission for her work program in 2026. There will be consultations, there will be public hearings and gatherings to assess how we better modernize, integrate all those different policy areas in what will become an Ocean Act, integrating various policy monitoring tools. Now, on the sea basins approach, we really believe that there is a lot of potential in maritime spatial planning, and that it's worth having a regional approach and coordinate regionally better to integrate this approach in our reflection. So I think that will be the most important in terms of immediate actions. But there is another strategy that is under preparation. I feel it will be also important for coastal communities. And this is the shift that we made from sustainable blue economy considerations sector by sector to a more, I would say, interactive approach, integrating the considerations of the coastal communities. That would mean that the land to sea approach will be more prominent, and that we are preparing a new strategy together with the DG Regio on coastal communities and islands. And that will be also relevant for all coastal member states.
We anticipated a bit, but now I use this opportunity because you mentioned maritime spatial planning and the regional approach that we need to consider from now on. We are having one workshop dedicated to that. So use the opportunity to see how we can already prepare and be proactive in having two steps, because in the end we will need to generate two ideas for future projects, regional projects, moreover, to anticipate this work and to try to get to be one step forward for the maritime spatial planning, together with the integrated coastal zone management that we understand that it's more, let's say, prominent in some of the Black Sea countries. So I know that all the countries have interest in this field. Now we have created the framework for you to get together and to create something really concrete that we can go forward. And all this will go also to the European Commission, so you will know about our work and you will know about what our stakeholders are interested in. I don't know if you want to have any last reflections or
you didn't ask the question about the money, so maybe I could reply without a question. Right?
Even if it's not a question, the answer about the money is always valuable.
Always important, right? Okay, we often have this, I wouldn't say criticism, but question mark. Okay, you're having so many new policies and new initiatives, but what about the money? How is it going to be supported? And I remember when we were drafting the European Ocean Pact, we had this ambition to have a blue fund that will fund all ocean and maritime related activities. You're all aware that the multi-annual financial framework of the Commission is under preparation these days. The Commission made a proposal. Now it's in the hands of member states, and Council and Parliament will have to deliberate at one moment. The financial situation is not an easy one, and I don't think we will have an ocean fund or a blue fund as we hoped for. There will be greater opportunities for member states to set their own priorities and to work within their own national facility. Therefore, the work with the national coordinators and the national authorities will be even more important now to be able to set the priorities right. And what we could say now is that there will be a lot of interest in work on competitiveness. There will be a lot of interest in innovative technologies. There will be a lot of security-related aspects. And in the pipeline, we also have a maritime industrial strategy, a port strategy that is under preparation. And then there will They will fuel some new policy priorities and new interests to invest in innovative, digitalized technologies that bring competitiveness and prosperity for European member states. So these are a little bit the buzzwords and the main priorities that I could share with you that would be important in the next years to come in terms of funding priorities.
As you have seen, when you mentioned money, everyone, all the room become dynamic. And you mentioned competitiveness and innovation, and you have seen that we are already there, because that is the goal that most of our stakeholders picked as being more relevant. So I really, really hope, being from the Black Sea, that we will have more innovation here. I'm looking forward to see it, to have it in a tangible way, because I think this is what we all want to see. And our next conferences, why not? We'll have some showcase of the innovations, but we need to have them. So we need to work on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This was a very fast presentation of very complicated and complex policies that we will follow, and the Common Maritime Agenda will always take each opportunity to introduce them, to better explain them, and to bring them closer to you. Thank you. Now we will be, yes, one applause, true.